Good evening, everybody. Hi, Sarah Batchelor here, Neuro-Spicy music teacher, and I'm taking my interviews in a little bit of a different direction. As you know, I've been quite involved in the whole recall Angela Pitt, overthrow the government thing. And I myself have been trying to get a meeting with Angela Pitt for a couple of years without any success. And so I thought, well, if she won't talk to us, maybe other people who've actually met her will. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I am here tonight with Lisa Bettenson. Did I say that correctly?
You did.
Awesome. So, Lisa, tell us a little bit about yourself and how we got here.
Absolutely. So I've been a teacher since 2017, and I teach K to 9 music in Calgary right now.
Hey, I'm a music teacher
And
too.
I
Yay!
absolutely, and Neuro-Spicy too. So like we're on the
Hooray!
same boat here. Yeah, and I've lived in Airdrie now for almost 3 years. We moved just before my daughter was born, and we're loving it and having a great time. And up until now, it's been pretty nice.
So, what made you want to get in contact with Angela Pitt to begin with?
So I started by asking her, but to vote no on Bill 2, because long story short, as you know, as a teacher, classroom is insane right now. And one of the things that frustrates me the most is that I don't know if she has been listening to her constituents, asking for any of their opinions or inputs. So I started by sending her saying, don't vote yes on this, don't vote yes on this, don't vote yes on this. She then proceeded, of course, to vote yes on this.
I
And
watched her do it.
I did the super mature, chill thing of sending her emails that were I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I called her trash. I sent her pictures with garbage in it saying I can't see a difference between the two. I need help.
Yeah.
Um, I stand by it.
Yeah, no, it's fair. It's fair. Your feelings are valid. And
Especially since yeah, and I mean, since they keep using it for the notwithstanding clause for stupid things and hurting other people, not just teachers, but I feel extra validated in sending those emails, honest.
yeah. And did she ever respond to you?
No, so I got no response. And I sent her an email every half hour for the last like few days of the strike.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of emails.
And I yeah, I know. I think in total it was like 90 emails or something like that.
So each of those counts for
It's a
25
good number.
voices. So the math is good. You really helped push the numbers up.
You would think. But I didn't actually get a response from any of those emails, not even the ones where I was calling her trash and saying she had no backbone or anything like that. And then I went on Facebook and I said, "Hey, are you guys getting meetings with Angela? Are you phoning? Are you doing emails? Are you showing up at the door?" And all of a sudden, I had an email invitation within an
Interesting.
hour of me posting it on Facebook, an email invitation. And I took it and I was like, let's meet.
Absolutely. I've always been kind of fascinated by her engagement with social media. Like I'm old school, so I'm always on Facebook, but I'm a lot older than you. But like social media, it's become such a common platform for communication. I mean, even now here we are streaming our own thoughts and ideas like we're the news, right? Like everybody's ideas are out there, but it's not vetted, right? It's not like mainstream news is supposed to be, and like there's rules and we try and be civil and these sorts of things, right? So a lot of the discourse that happens here I think is really valuable, but it's also different than what I consider like mainstream reporting, right? And so it really surprises me that she doesn't engage in any of what you would call typical traditional mainstream reporting. All of her
Mm-hmm.
interactions tend to be on social media. And I don't know if it's because she is more of an informal human who likes to be a little bit sassy herself. And I mean, I'm here for that because I'm sassy. But
Yep.
it's not necessarily the best way to show your professionalism, right? I mean,
No,
if you're calling her trash on social media, she could call it right back, and it would probably not surprise
absolutely.
people, right? It's kind of an interesting choice, I think, and it feels intentional that she's only going to engage in the informal, where maybe there's less accountability. I don't know.
Well, and one of the questions I asked her, well, I wanted to ask her, I should say,
Mm,
was why did you not respond to the recall to the elections people, but you responded online?
right. And what did she say to that?
And by
Or you didn't ask her, you wanted
She
to
didn't
ask
say
her.
anything. Unfortunately, I didn't get to actually ask her. But the reason I wanted to ask that question was because I honestly didn't know that the person who initiated the recall was a principal until she mentioned it.
Yeah.
He he kept it so separate that I had no clue he was in the teaching the department until he brought it up.
Yeah,
So
and
my
I think
question
that was
was going to
intentional, as
be,
it should have been, because we as educators, we are educators 24/7. We're held to a higher standard, probably a standard politicians would benefit from being held to. But at the same time, it doesn't preclude us from being political, right? As long as we're not
no, not at all.
teaching our
And
personal ideology, which we get accused of and we're not. I mean, the joke is, right, if I could teach your kids,
absolutely.
indoctrinate them, they'd have pencils and say please and thank you, right? Like, it's, how many kids have I taught about Poland and nobody's invaded it yet? It's indoctrination is not what we're doing, right? But Elections Alberta released
I know
his
it's
stuff
one of those things
too.
where I'm like,
Like,
I just want your kids to say thank you.
that'd be nice. Although most of my kids do. I have
But
really nice
yeah,
students
like
for the most part, but
that's
yeah. I do have a few spicy ones, but
um
I'll take it. It's good.
yeah. Who doesn't have spicy ones at this point?
Oh God. So, do you got a meeting? So, did you get to sit
No, so
down
that
with the
was
woman?
one of the questions I wanted to ask her.
Yeah.
Oh, so I wanted to say, did you think that by mentioning that he was a principal, were you trying to separate and make it that it's a us versus them thing again?
Again.
Escalate it.
Yeah. I know they accuse us of weaponizing things, and I find that really, well, it hurts my heart because they're doing it. Like, when they use the word pornography, that was the moment I was completely done. Right? I've taught high school. I've taught from K to
So
12 in my
valid.
career. And yeah, there's some more adult books in the high school libraries in the anime section. Absolutely. I know I read Ready Player One, which has a fantastic movie, Spielberg, but the book is very different. And there's this really interesting chapter in it where they discuss AI, robots, and sexual relationships. And because this guy wants to have a relationship with something, and so he buys this doll. And it's not a conversation for kids, right? But this book was in
Yeah.
our high school library. And when I read it, I brought it to the librarian and I was like, can we just put a sticker on it that says, we need to know your parents know you have this book? And so that's what we did. But we just rated it 16 up. If you were 16 and older, you could take out whatever you wanted, right? But
Yeah.
you want parents' choice. Well, then open your kids' backpacks and go see what's in it. But is there some sexually explicit stuff possibly in the high schools? Absolutely. Right? There's not in the younger schools. There's not. And there's not pornography anywhere. And that word is just, it's a dirty word. Not that I have a problem with pornography either. That's a whole nother conversation. But it's in schools? Like, how dare you?
Yeah, no, and I can honestly say in my years of teaching, I've never seen in elementary or high school anything that could be and remotely close to considered pornography. But I've definitely seen things that are developing on human sexuality
Yeah.
or body types or relationships
Yeah.
or family lives or things like that.
Yeah, or in this case,
Which
it
are
was a
social constructs that
conversation
we need
about
to understand.
relationships and the evolution of technology. Like, it was a really valid conversation. I would have sat down and had with my 16-year-old. Dude, did you read this? What do you think? Like
Exactly.
But then I also tend to know what my kids are reading. Now, do I know what they're watching on YouTube? No. Until I scroll through. My 13-year-old is apparently, he now found out we have an air fryer. So that's my video stream is full of air fryer recipes at the moment. I'm like, Q has discovered the air fryer exists. Yeah, but it's
As long as he learns how to cook with it, I mean, that's a win for you.
as long as he cleans up after, that would be the real win. But we'll don't punish people for going
Also
in the
that.
direction you want them to be going. We're happy we're building some independence here. This is good. He's my youngest,
Correct.
so right. Let's just keep moving. I love teenagers, especially when he's my last one. It's glorious. I have 5 kids, so it's been fun few years. But
Fair.
the whole idea of weaponizing. And I did a podcast with CBC a couple weeks ago, and she asked us about that too, and it didn't make it into the podcast. But are we weaponizing this conversation? And I've had to kind of I don't want to paint myself like, oh, we're perfect or innocent in all of this too. Like, I think it's good to push back at the same questions we're asking them, right? Like, are we weaponizing this? And I think the answer is yes, but I think the reasons why are different.
And the results we're hoping to get from it might be different than they're thinking.
Right?
So they're worried that we're trying to indoctrinate them and make them think our ways or whatever. Honest to God, I'm just trying to say, hey, this is what science has said. This other things say, open your minds a little bit and be
Yeah.
willing to receive new information.
Yeah. Yeah, for me it works around wording like parents' choice. You want parents to have choice. Well, my choice is for my child
Yeah,
with special needs to go to a fully funded school, right? My choice would be the fact that my
yeah,
child whose first name is Quentin but goes by Q wouldn't have to fill out paperwork because he doesn't want to answer, as he called it today, his government name, which made me laugh. He's like, "You called me my government name." I also teach him in band class, which is where this happened. It was quite funny. But I'm like, "Your government name. I love it,
perfect.
dude." Right? I have a trans child who would be, if they were still high school age, would be heavily influenced by or impacted, pardon me, by what's been happening. Right? There's nothing that this government has done since they've come into power that's made
Mm,
any one of my children's lives better. And so if I had choice, right? My choice would be that they were treated like human beings with equal dignity to the people with the more extreme views that you're bowing to. And as a Christian myself, I take a lot, it hurts a lot to hear like them weaponizing religion as well sometimes in this conversation. I'm like, that's not the point
absolutely.
here, right? I mean, and in my school,
Yeah,
I don't
no,
know about yours.
I teach with Calgary Catholic, and it's not a religion thing.
No, no, right? And I mean, I taught at a school where we were kind of composite, right? So it was Catholic and public, right? And so, but there was the religious courses offered. So if you were in the Catholic
Oh,
school, then you could take that too, right? Like, it's teaching about religion and teaching religion are two different things, right? Like it's
very true.
and in our culture, like I lived in Wainwright, Alberta for 20 years, very conservative, clearly with Polyev and the whole thing going on there. But other than I could pronounce everybody's names, everybody celebrated the same holidays. Maybe two kids celebrated Ramadan,
Right.
right? And that was about it. And then I moved down here, and the school I teach at, we have about 1,000 kids. 40% of my kids don't celebrate Christmas, right? But 25% of them
Hmm.
celebrate Diwali. So, hey, what are we going to blow up? Diwali, we did dancing. I mean, you're a music teacher, you get to learn to sing in Hindi badly, as I did. Um, it's been such a it's been such a gift to be able to grow this way and learn about all these cultures. But that's all it is. I'm just learning, right? And so I'm sharing that information. I'm not indoctrinating. I'm not saying we will pray. I'm not saying we will. No, I'm just saying Christians pray, Muslims pray this way, right? Like, let's find the common ground, right? And I don't know. I think our government's afraid of that.
Absolutely. And our school only has 600 kids, but of those 600, most of them are Nigerian families.
Oh, so you get fun
So
names like
they do still
Best and
celebrate Christmas.
Excellence. They have the best names. Like, I love the Nigerian names.
Oh, they have some fantastic names. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and some fantastic food. I'm going to be honest with you.
Oh,
Um,
yes. Yes. When they treat you to food, this is a gift. Yes.
it is such a gift, and I'm always like, I prefer the homemade gift cookies and treats like that. I'm like, because I get to experience so much different things when
Right?
you do for me. Um, yeah.
Yeah, but we're evil teachers who are greedy here. Bring us your home cooking. Yeah, no. Like, I mean, that's about as greedy as we get at this point.
Just just the worst, just the
Oh,
worst teachers. Give me
oh.
baked goods and homemade cards.
Where's the Glock shaman? Oh my god. My kid, my 13-year-old, that's his new one. His friend is from India as a Glock. I'm sure I'm saying it wrong. So I cause more international incidences as I go. But, my intent is just to be funny. And I hope people know that. But
Yep.
yeah, so I mean, meeting with your MLA, like I wondered, because my husband is a UCP supporter, and this is fine. We're still happily married. We because politics isn't everything in life, right? It's just how we vote and that sort of thing. But I'm kind of wondering, like, because he was saying, "Oh, of course she didn't respond to the recall," and I was thinking, well, but she represents us too. But he's like, but you guys didn't vote for her, so
Hmm.
that's why she's not meeting with you. I think was sort of the intent there, and I'm like, but that's not how it works. I taught social studies 6 and 9, and I think you have to listen to all of us,
Well, and it's like you can't pick and choose which parents I get to talk to. I have to talk to all of them.
right? If I could pick and choose, yeah. No, can you imagine? That'd be hilarious.
That'd be crazy.
Oh, no, thank you. I'll just take them all.
But that was what I mentioned to her though, is like I started the interview with her with
Yeah,
I did not vote for you. I moved here 2.5 years ago. And I wanted to be just completely open from the beginning. I'm sure she knew from my emails that I was not her voter and supporter.
At this point, with the
But I came in
yes.
with right. I came in with a document. I had thought of 30 questions I wanted to ask her. I had an hour with, and I had 30 questions I want to ask her. And how many do you think you got there?
A little bit of feedback. I think we're good.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah. So I came in with 30 questions. How many do you think she answered?
2.
Ooh, that's low, but close. It was 6.
Hey, she did better than I thought. Good for her. Yay, Angela. You deserve a sticker.
But 3 of those questions were about her.
Okay. So what
the
did
first
you learn
question
about
I
her?
asked was how long. Oh, that's exactly. I want to know how long she'd been an MLA for Airdrie East. And it took her 3 tries, but she got the right answer. And then I asked, how many kids do you have in public school system? And she said 2.
Yeah.
And tell me that was the document. Where's the oh, when was the last time you taught in a classroom? And her answer was, well, I haven't. Well, actually, I go in and talk about the government. And I went, so never. And she goes, well, no, I go in and I teach about the government. And I went, no, you're a field trip.
Yeah.
I'm like they're not, it's not that the kids are not gaining useful information, but there's another adult in the room who's responsible for the children, and you're just giving information.
That's right. Which is what everyone thinks teaching is, but
Well, apparently. But she was like, okay, yeah, I guess no, I haven't taught. I'm like, there we go. It was one of those moments. It was frustrating because it highlighted that she really has no idea what's going on in the classrooms. Because the following question I asked her was, why do you think teachers voted yes to a strike?
And she
Which
says,
is, oop.
Oh, we're just a little glitchy.
And she paused. Sorry. And she thought, and she goes, whose opinion do you want to hear?
Whose
And
opinion?
I went, I want to hear what your understanding is. And she stopped and she goes, classroom complexities, teachers want to raise, and because the ATA told them they had to go on strike. That was her answer for why. I know. I'm like, what? I'm like, did you see how many people voted to go on strike? It wasn't because the ATA told them. It's because all of us said we wanted to.
Right? They clearly don't understand how, and universally people are confused about the purpose of the union and how the union works, right? Like that's a whole nother thing. I think the ATA is really going to have to step up on moving forward to kind of educate the public, because we're also an association, which throws a whole nother level of stupidity into things, right? And
absolutely,
well, I don't think our union is perfect by any stretch, and I think the AGM this year is going to be lit. Like, because nobody's been engaged until now. You wait till they talk about strike pay. Like, it's coming.
Oh, no. And it's not even strike pay that drove me up the wall with this. I was like, whatever, that's fine. The problem I had was they didn't even consult us on when they were bargaining on, should we continue bargaining the way we are, or is there something we need to focus on?
Yeah.
It's like, what if we'd taken raises off the table, but got classroom cash in return?
Yeah. And I think that's information we're going to get more about, because I think there is a reason why. But again, even as members, how much we knew and how much we didn't know. I mean, and that I think was strategic too, right? Because if you, what's the, if you want to keep a secret between 2 people, one of them has to be dead. Like, you just kind of like compartmentalize. And I think 51,000 of us with social media accounts, somebody was going to say something. So it wouldn't have been me. I'm pretty good about not posting what I shouldn't. But I think kind of keeping the lid on it was strategic. I'm not sure it worked in our advantage. Although the public support was choice, and I'm still eternally grateful and still experiencing like how much people are in our camp on this one.
And I hear that a lot, but I also see a lot of the other side, and it frustrates me because I see, especially on like pages where I live or a union or the area I live or things like that, are being so negative, and it's so hard to take those and not fight every single comment you see and be like, "Can you please come volunteer in my classroom for a week
Yeah, I'm
and
always like, if you have
see
a
what it
clean
looks
criminal
like?"
record, check. Come and spend some time with me. I won't even talk to you. You can just come be in the room. Right? Like, just
And,
come and
and it's
see.
teaching is such an easy job. You get 2 months off and blah blah blah. And I'm like, cool. Why aren't you doing it?
Yeah. Ugh,
Like,
because the
if
other
you
day a
can't man
child
up or
asked me
balls
why
up or
he was
whatever,
wearing three pairs of or three socks, and I said, I don't know, why are you wearing three socks? And he's like, because I was wearing four, but then I threw up on one of them. That's why nobody does this. I'm like, oh, gross. No, go away, small monkey of germs, child. No, no, they're delightful when they're not puking on
that's
their
lovely.
socks.
I've had two students last year who peed on my carpet.
Oh, I've had a couple. Yeah. One was not my
Mm,
fault, but I said, "Is it an emergency?" to a 6-year-old who didn't know what emergency meant. And that was on me.
fair.
And the parents were gracious, thankfully, because I was like, "Do you really have to go cuz you've gone 5 times?" Yeah. But yeah, guess you did. Oops.
No, and
But
like these ones shocked me because they didn't even ask.
they
They
just
just one of them walked up to me and goes, "Mrs. B, I need to go to the bathroom
oh,
after the." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And she goes, "I think I peed
please.
so."
That should be main mysteries. Let's leave them there. But yeah, okay. So you got to know her a little bit, and yeah, I've heard. I
Super
got
young.
an email back. I've never had more than email conversations, and she had told me that she wouldn't come and visit my school because she had 2 kids in public school, which meant she knew what was going on.
um, she said she's volunteered for her daughter's field trip before, and at the end of the day has been exhausted.
Ah,
So she knows how exhausting it is because she's done a field trip before.
oh well, yeah. I think any teacher or parent who's been on a field trip with us would think we need a raise. Oh, I love field trips, but
You
they're
would
not for the faint of heart. That's for sure.
No, they aren't, and they require so much planning and effort. And if you're a band program, they requires fundraising
Oh yes.
and other things like that. And people don't understand that we spend hours putting into that trip.
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah,
I started keeping track of hours, like of what it takes to do projects and things, and it's a little bit staggering when you start looking at the numbers. It takes me 20 hours outside of school for a band concert, between 40 and 80 for an elementary, depending on how much arranging I'm doing on top of
yep.
all the creative pieces. It was 190 hours outside of school for a school musical, right? Like
Hmm.
it's a significant amount of time, and
And and it's the other stuff on top of that. Like I don't know if it's an above or beyond thing, but it's something I do every day. My room is open at lunch for kids to practice
right.
because I have kids who cannot practice at home.
I also have kids who are safe in my room and are happy in my room and aren't other places, and so they're in my
Yes,
room, right? And that's important too. But it also means we do not get a break.
absolutely. Yep.
Yep. Just checking my
I had a student ask me the other day, he's like, I've never seen you. He's like, I've never seen you eat your lunch. When do you eat your lunch?
yeah.
And I responded with, on the days I have a prep, I'm lucky enough to eat that.
Yep.
On the days I don't have a prep, I eat it on the way home.
Yep. Sometimes I forget I have a lunch. It's my emotional support center. It comes to school with
Uh,
me and it sits on my desk and then it comes home with me.
my
And then my
lunch
child eats it.
from Monday is currently still sitting in the fridge at work.
That's hilarious. And I don't think that's
And I
just
was
a
like, I'll
music
eat it on
teacher thing,
Tuesday.
but music and PE teachers. I think we're the ones who fall into that category. Never having time to eat.
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think, when we're looking at the recalls and what we're hoping to get out of this, I think, what would you think your outcome would be other than the removal of the current government, right? Like, I mean, is this about UCP for you, or is it simply about the current government, whoever it happens to be, is not making choices that support your values?
It's whatever government at the time is not supporting my values because my husband and I are firm believers in doing the research of what each party is promising and is saying is going to happen and voting based on that information provided. So even if this was the NDP or whatever doing all of this, I would be just as angry because this is not a representation of the constituents. This is not a representation of what we voted for. This is not a representation of what you would accomplish. So as soon as you stop representing me and what I need from what you as government member, why would I want you here? You're you're at this current government has now messed up teachers, they've messed up hospital care and staff workers, they've abused rights and with a notwithstanding clause and going over and over. They've hurt some of our most vulnerable children by making them now have to sign documents saying I'm a legally a girl. What is this nonsense? Like it's insane to me.
Yeah, I've come to the realization that I am living in the novels that I loved to read growing up. The dystopian world. Here I am, organizing recalls to overthrow the government, and my husband is in his office creating AI, which he's promised will stay in the office. I'm like, this is a dystopian fairy tale, right? I think it's just I have to reframe it for myself so I don't feel like I'm losing my mind. But I just looking around, I'm like,
but at the same time, I never signed up to be in a dystopian fairy tale.
No, I'm like, okay, I see some Orwell. I've
I
got
just
some
wanted to teach
Atwood.
music.
What are we doing? Yeah, like, yeah, it's kind of crazy to me, and I don't know, but I think Albertans are smart people. I mean, I've taught a lot of them I've been teaching longer than you. I'm old. I started teaching in the year 2000. So my first full year of teaching, because I had a baby my last year of university, I had a baby my first year of teaching, and a baby my second. So in between all that, my first full year of teaching was our first strike. Yeah, don't do that, by the way. Yeah. Yeah, the 3 under 3 thing was wild. But now I just have one child at home, and it's kind of like hobby parenting, and I'm enjoying it a lot more with one teenager. But it's a very different world from what I started in to now. And I think you would probably, even only having been here for less than 10 years. I mean, you started just before COVID, so you would see some of that changes that we were seeing.
Yeah.
Like we were talking today, one of the things we offer is reading intervention, RTI. And we used to, back in the day, what people would be familiar with is if you have a group of struggling readers, you pull them into the hall, and they're the Bluebird group, right? Yeah, they all had dorky little names, and nobody knew the Bluebird group of the weakest, but everybody knew, right? But so they would go in the hall, and then you would read with them, and you'd work on whatever you needed to work on with them. But that used to be about 3 to 5% of our students. The data we were going through for the school I work in, 60 to 80%. 60 to 80% of my kids are in the level that I would be pull out. So why are we pulling out? No, we're not. Now we're pushing in, right? Which we were trying to do anyways because it's more inclusive. But the teachers are pushing back because, no, take the struggling ones out and fix this. No, sweetheart, the majority of your kids are the struggling ones. We're leaving them with you. So they're all on the same page. We're going to take the higher ones now, right? Like, it's such a shift, right? As a teacher. And I get why the other staff push back when I say, no, I'm not pulling them, right? But that's the demographic we're now dealing with, right? And we wouldn't have that data if we didn't collect it ourselves.
I had a grade 4 teacher who was saying that out of her 27 students, 15 of them are at grade 2 reading level.
Yeah, that would be normal.
And I was going to say, that's not uncommon anymore.
No.
And I'm trying to figure out, where has this shift happened?
Well, we've always had some shift, right? Like when I was teaching I taught high school for 20 years first, right? And so if I had a -2-4 group of kids, so they call it non-academic. All it means is it doesn't go to university, right? These are kids who can still go to trade school, but it's for our viewers who don't understand the leveled routes at the high school level. So I would teach those kids. So typically you're 3 grade levels behind if you're in the -2 as far as reading comprehension goes, right? Or like the K&E program in grade 8 and 9. It's just written at a grade 5 level, but it's the same content, right?
Yeah.
And so I would have a small class of those kids, but most kids would fit into the mainstream room, and they would be within that 3 grade levels. As we got closer to COVID, I started to see a little bit of a bigger divide. In my mainstream classroom, I had everywhere from grade 2 to grade 11, and that was a grade 9 room, right? And I started to see a bigger spread.
Wow.
So it was before COVID that we started to see the switch, and I'd be interested to see research as to why, or because for me that one's an anecdotal, but I I know it was happening, right? Like I could see that there was a shift where
Right.
there was a gap, and it was getting bigger, and I didn't know why. And now there's a gap, but it's not like it's evenly gapped. It's like the successful kids are over here, but most are over here, and it's an interesting dynamic. And part of it is language. I think
Like
you probably
it's
have that in
almost
your
like a
world too.
trench, and there's on each side, and we're trying to bridge the divide.
Yeah, basically what we're doing is we're standing on the edge of the trench on the low end, yelling across at the high end, hey, help the people in the middle while we turn around and deal with the masses over here, right? Because, I mean, that's when the
Genuinely.
kids in the middle are the ones that
Yeah,
get
that's
missed,
right.
like, hands down. Like, yeah, I don't know. I finally got to sit down. I have a first year trombone player in a group of second to fourth years. And the poor kid, I mean, he's in tears. And I'm like, no, this is expected. It should be this hard for you right now. And so I finally got to sit and play next to him today. And we got some things that clicked. But it's like, okay, I can't even get to you. And I know you're going to be struggling, right? Like, it's wild some days what we can pay
Hmm.
attention to and what we can't.
And you feel really bad because you can see them struggling, but you're so busy helping the majority that you cannot focus on that one person.
Nope, you can't stop, right? And then as from the parent perspective, because you're a
Yeah.
mother as well, right? When it's your child who requires the supports and they're not getting them, because my kids are in that category. My youngest in grade 8 with dyslexia should be getting a lot of intervention and is getting nothing. And I haven't said anything out loud at school because I know damn well why, right?
Hmm.
I know why he's not, because he's not a behavior problem. The same reason I have the nonverbal grade 4 who, because she's not a behavior problem, has zero support in music, right? Like,
Yeah.
if your kid isn't the squeaky wheel, diagnosis or not, they're just gonna have to tread water
Well, and
until we
that's
figure
why
this out.
the diagnosis for ADHD in women was so late and observed as being different than ADHD in boys was because girls, when they have ADHD, just kind of disassociate, but they sit there quietly. They're not rude. They're not bouncing around the room.
Well, the
Therefore, they're
hyperactivity
well
is happening
behaved
in
and it
here.
doesn't get diagnosed. Me too.
Our thoughts per
And
second would
so,
astound people. It's a lot.
oh, 100%.
Yep. Yep. You want to know where
And
I'm
it's just one of
hyperactive?
those things where we should maybe look into this a little bit more and see how this different thing shows up for both girls versus boys and how many we're missing and how we're not helping who needs help because we just don't know.
No, I know. And so when they talked about that 3,000 hires, but the money could be used for assessment as well, or instead, yeah, you're right. How many ed psych assessments is in my salary? Was my first computation. And I'm like, okay, there's actually maybe some value in that. But at the same time, my first response was, that's a healthcare issue, right? Have you looked at the results from the complexity and aggression group? The study that they did
Yeah,
before the
and
strike that they didn't
just like
release till after. That's my video I'm doing tomorrow.
totally my side fright with that one is I don't know about your but we all of a sudden had to collect all of this information in the span of like 2 days, like
Yep,
last week.
I have 14 classes. It was hell,
But
right?
my
How many
point here
EAL kids do
being,
I have? I
why
don't
was
know.
this so quick and why did we need to do it right now?
And why
Is
didn't
it
every
because you're
school
worried about the
division
amount
have
of
to do it?
calls happening?
It wasn't done across the whole
Well, that too.
province. CBE didn't do it. No, and one of the Edmonton divisions,
Really?
and some of the smaller schools administrators just did it for the staff. And like, hallelujah, my administrator went in and put all the complexity piece in for me because she knew that I was going to just cry. I
So
came
like
back
I
from the
love
strike. I had 3 classes and we performed, right? So I was already like, are you fucking kidding me? Right? And so then she's like, I went in and I put in how many EAL kids you had and all that for you. I'm like, oh, thank you. Like, because this year I only have 14 classes. Last year I had 20. Right? Like,
now that you said that, I'm sitting here going, how many classes do I have?
yeah, yeah. People don't count things. It's funny to me. I'm like, I know how many students I have because I don't know, but I count to 4 for a living. I'm not good at math, but I like patterns. I don't know. I think there's a structure in knowing how many you have, right? Something about it is safe.
I have 20 classes.
I was there last year. That was the record of I'd had in my
Yeah.
career.
I was like, it wasn't until you said that I was like, how many do I actually teach? And I was
And
like,
your smallest
oh
class
yeah, I do
is?
have a lot of classes.
What's your smallest?
My smallest class is kindergarten with 19.
Oh, that's still a big kinder. 17 is so nice in kinder.
It is a big kinder.
I had bigger ones last year. I had 24s.
My biggest, I've got a few big classes this year, actually.
Like big classes that you're not happy are big.
2 grade 2s.
Band, I want big. Band, I've got band is 48, and I'm thrilled.
My grade 7 band this year is 54.
Nice.
My grade 8 band is 35, but I only started in this job last year, so I'm hoping it's going to keep going up.
It will. Well, and you have a little bit of this, but...
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
My biggest class that I teach that is not band is my grade 2. I have 2 classes that come together, so I teach 40.
Oh, do you get extra support for the 40?
I do get an EA, but it took a lot of schedule rearranging for the EA.
Yeah. I'm like, do you want them to touch the instruments this year?
The first part of the year without.
Because not by myself, you would die. But it also depends on the group. Like actually last year, I had grade 2s that I did ukes with, and I would never typically give ukulele before grade 4. But this group, I let them learn to pluck. Right? Like some groups, some years you can do stuff.
And it depends on the group, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I'm happy with some bigger classes.
This group isn't bad. It's just a lot.
Mm-hmm. Right, and that's the whole thing. It's because behavior is communication, and when you look at what children or what humans are doing, right? That phrase changed my life. My cis daughter, I have a trans daughter as well. My cis daughter is severely autistic. She was nonverbal until middle school for the most part. She calls me a vile wench when she gets mad at me, which is delightful. But I can't remember where I was going with this now. My brain just left. Yeah, it's okay.
The train leaves without me all the time.
Right? And I'm like, and sometimes it comes back, but I don't think it's going to in this one. I think we were talking about supports. She's the only one of my 5 kids I didn't teach, only because that would have really thrown her out of whack. But, yeah. Oh, yeah, no, but like the supports and things that she needs, right, back in the day she got, right, compared to what we have now. Like we had speech and OT actually come physically into the building and work with her. Right? Whereas I'll have nonverbal kids in that now, and they don't. They may come with a communication device. But then, this is the one today, I realized English isn't the language spoken at home. Your communication device is in English. Wonder why you're not using it. Right? Like, you don't speak the language we've given you to speak. Sometimes we are not smart adults. It's like... I'm going to have to go talk to the learning coordinator. I think I know, because everyone's like, why won't she use it? And I'm like, because it's not in Nigerian. At home, they don't speak English.
She doesn't know English. Why would she use it?
Right? Like, now I'm going to have to write this down. We've got to go and look. There's got to be a way to program it in her language, but it speaks ours. Isn't that just an advanced Google Translate? Like,
that's kind of what I was just thinking. It sounds like an extra step translate program.
Got to be something. See, this is what people don't get about our job too, right? It's what time of night, and this is what we're thinking and talking about. Because, I'll be lying in the tub reading my book, and I'm like, oh, idea, right? For that one kid. Oh, I'm going to go do that, right? And it's crazy.
And you're like, I'm going to implement this tomorrow. I'm going to use it for so many kids, and it's going to be great. And then you get out of the tub, and you go, what was that idea?
Right, you got to write it down. Like, I literally leave notes in my phone in the middle of the night, and I'll wake up in the morning, and it'll say, shoe rack for cell phones. I'm like... what was I talking about? And I meant like the shoe racks that go over the back of the door.
You're talking about doing attendance with the shoe racks on the doors.
I got it later. I actually didn't know what I meant till I got to Walmart, and I made myself walk over and look at the shoe racks. And then I went, oh yeah, okay, now I remember what I was thinking about. But I've learned that I need to trust my 2 a.m. ideas, which often means I'm changing repertoire at the last minute, or suddenly there's a confetti cannon, or, oh, you're a band person? If you have not conducted Jurassic Park in an inflatable dinosaur costume, you have not lived. And I have a grade 1 version of it and a dinosaur costume. We should connect, because if you have not done this, I have all of it. Oh my God. It is so much fun. You can't see anything. So I had 90 kids. I was all by myself in the gym for rehearsal, and I'd taken them through it in the costume, and then I realized I couldn't get the zipper undone, and I'm stuck in it. And you know how you can just sort of hear that noise at the back where you're like, shit, we're about to lose it, right? I can't even see, but I can hear the kid with the drumsticks. I'm like, oh my God, I'm in trouble. So I'm trying to get undone. So I pulled the microphone inside my costume, and I'm like, all right, everyone, measure 10. And we just kept playing over and over again until I figured out how to get out of the costume. So I was like, I am not admitting defeat. Oh my gosh. And this is how I die. No, but
there was one year, my first year of teaching, I ended the concert with From Now On from The Greatest
Oh,
Showman.
that's a good song.
And I had planned it so that all of my bands from 6 to 12, or sorry, 6 to 9 were playing together. And I adjusted all the music for grade 6 to be at a grade 6 level.
Yep.
And so they were still playing at a grade 6 level, but they matched with
Yeah.
what the grade 7s through 9s were doing.
Yeah.
And we're doing this dress rehearsal, and this freaking fairy sax that had been breaking continuously for the entire year.
Because that's what they
She
do.
middle of rehearsal, everybody's in the gym. We've stopped, and she goes, "Mrs. B," and I go, "What?" And she holds up this giant rod with one of her keys and goes, "This broke off."
Gosh, 40 minutes of your life with a really
And
tiny
all the kids
screwdriver.
are looking at me like, "What is she gonna do?" And my response was, "Flippity flop and penguin feet."
Right? You just say something.
And
It's like,
the kids burst out laughing because they knew, of course, what I wanted to
yeah,
say.
right. Yeah.
And for the rest of the year and the next year, anytime I was upset, they would go, "Penguin feet."
Love that. Oh my gosh, saxophone
Oh,
keys
Lord, I've
falling
never
off
forgotten
at
that.
concert. That is, you are now officially a band director. Welcome.
Year 1. Yay.
It has to happen. It's like, how am I going to get this crock out of the trombone? All right, how did you wedge it in there that far? Like, just, yeah, welcome to middle school band. But I mean, we have the best stories. And I mean, honestly, you know,
We do.
the public doesn't understand, and I think, as we talk about it, we share our stories. They're clearly, we love what we do and we love our kids. And without that, I don't think we should be doing what we're doing, which is why I don't think just everybody should be a teacher, like jury duty. Like, I just think, no, you need the right people in with these humans, or they're not going to make it to adulthood, I'm telling you. But
Yep.
that said, don't take advantage of our kindness, compassion, and our hearts, because that's what this government does. The teachers aren't going to let the kids fail. We're not going to. I'm watching
No.
teachers let kids fail, and it's killing them, but I'm watching it.
I've said it to my kids before, mostly about practicing, to be honest. But I always say, I'm not going to put you in a concert if you're not ready for it.
Nope. I will not put
I'm
you in
not
that
going to
position.
set you up for failure. I
Nope.
refuse.
No. But
Because concerts should be a fun adventure thing.
It's our chance to show what we've known. Yeah, because in class I use practice, rehearsal, performance. Practice means I am learning my part.
Yes.
Rehearsal means we are learning each other's parts. Performance means we're ready to share it with somebody. Perfect isn't a word that exists in my room. Practice makes progress, right?
Nope.
I suck badly in front of you all the time. It's delightful. This is my favorite thing when the beginners, when they screw up, they get to squeak the rubber chicken. His name's Bach, because I think I'm hilarious, and only a third of them actually get that.
That's
yeah, but we celebrate them making the mistake, because until you know you screwed up, I'm correcting. You're not learning. And that shift, right?
Absolutely.
But that's very different than when I went to school, probably even from when you went to school to some extent, right? My husband and I, he was like, how come our Q doesn't have homework ever? And I'm like, because we don't give homework. Like, it's just ideologically not something people do anymore because, well, a million reasons. All of them valid, right? Like, school should stay at school. I'm sorry. There's nothing that we're teaching at the K-9 level that needs to take them out of soccer practice, needs to keep them off the games, needs to keep them in the house. Like, they I think you're just going to create another generation that's burnt out, right? But I'm talking about things that our kids do better than we do. I think setting boundaries for work-life balance. I see my middle schoolers already starting to do that much better. I see my young men having these deep emotional conversations with each other about their feelings, right? There's just things that make me feel better about the future when I'm with my kids, right? And I'm like, school isn't what you remember it. So I kind of wish there was a way we could have people just kind of come in and see, right? Like the nonverbal kid who almost never says anything but greets you. Like they're happy to see you, right? Like, my God, that's as good as a pay raise. Although I deserve to be able to afford grapes in the middle of the winter, and I can't. So I want a pay raise. But it's when we say it's not about the money, what we mean is it's not about the money just for us. It's about the money for the programming. It's the money for the supports. This is how inclusion should work. We should have everyone together, but we need A, B, and C to make it really, really, really work, right? because we're
Absolutely.
dying.
And the thing that frustrates me is they think that when we say we want more money, they think we just want to raise it. I'm sitting there going, no, I want to be able to take my kids on a band trip and not have to do full fundraisers to do that.
Right? Yeah. It's
Like, I just don't understand why there's any debate about wanting to support the students.
yeah. And sort of, so as we talk about like what we would want after this recall sort of thing, and the changes we need to see, I've been doing a lot of research into different styles of, I'm a musician, by the way. I count to four for a living. I can't believe I'm talking about this stuff, but looking at different ways to make things sustainable. So I learned that policing takes 19 years without major change to create a stable system. Education and healthcare, 12 years without major
Mm,
changes. Election cycles are 4 years. This is the problem. So,
yeah.
what do we have to do to make those systems? So, I think as a society, we have to say, look, we want functioning healthcare, functioning policing, functioning social work, functioning education. These are the four non negotiables. These need to be stable regardless of who's in power. So, what can we do about that? Does that mean that any changes that come in with the next government is 70% approval, right? Do we need to raise thresholds there? Do we need to put different organizations in charge of those departments? And yes, there's a UCP lead, an NDP lead, or whatever, but there's also a percentage of teachers, a percentage of, right? Like, what do we need to do? And I mean, as I say, I'm not a political analyst, right? But as I start researching, I'm like, no, there's some really simple answers. My first solution would be that anyone with a portfolio, whether you're the main government or shadow cabinet, you have to spend 5 days in the industry you represent. If Nicolades
Oh,
was in our
so valid.
classroom five
Bare
days a
minimum.
year, or 5 days a month, 5 days a year, even though it would change him, he would know what puff funding meant. And there should be a
Oh,
prerequisite
you
test,
would.
and the industry gets to make it up. So I don't know what questions will be on the oil and gas one, but mine would be, what does Maslow before Bloom mean to you? And if you can't answer that question, right? And for those viewers who don't know what that means, I did a video on it. But Bloom is the guy who says these are the ways we learn, and Maslow is like these are the things as a human we need to be able to learn. Our brain for cognition, right? We need sleep, we need food, we need right. So in the
Home, we need clothing, we need.
safety, autonomy.
Mhm.
The longer I teach, the more I realize every damn thing is about power and control of kids.
Yeah.
Everything.
Oh, yeah.
I wish I'd figured that out 20 years ago. The last couple of
My
years since I
2-year-old
figured it
shows
out,
me that
things have
every
been
day.
better. But I'm like, okay, what do you need to get? What's your currency here? What are we doing? Right? But also today's generation is used to being negotiated with,
Yep.
right?
And there's a big difference between passive and gentle parenting, and a lot of gentle parents are not doing
No,
gentle
it's the
stuff.
same
They're
as
just giving
PBIS
their
in our
child the
buildings, the
power.
positive behavior stuff, right? All positives with no
Yeah.
consequences is not a system.
Yeah, I had a student at two classes yesterday who discovered what consequences were,
Ooh.
and I was happy to provide them for them. But the amount of students I get that are shocked when I follow through with a consequence, when I say I do something, when I do it,
Yeah.
they're absolutely appalled. Like, wait, you meant it?
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I had a little guy in kinder who
And
would lose his mind when I paused the videos, and I said, "What happens at home when mom has to go to the grocery store and says, 'Hey, sweetie, pause, put your shoes on?'" And he says, "She wouldn't dare." And I'm like, "I would." So then for the rest of the semester, I paused every time I was in there because I'm like, no, we need to, like, it's the grade twos who cried every time they were out. We played hot potato till kids stopped crying. Like, okay, what is the social emotional thing I need to work on?
mhm.
Okay, we can fix this. But the consequence pieces is hard, right? Because I don't know. It just is for me sometimes, right? Because you want to be kind and you know there's all these other reasons why, right? Like I know you're being a pain in my butt because you haven't eaten and you were up till 3 a.m. playing Clash of Clans or right? Like I know why you're being a jerk. So is there real like, it's a balance, but there has to be those
But
firm consequences.
there's a balance between being kind and acknowledging those things, but the kid still has to also own that their
Yeah,
behavior on top of what they are. Because
exactly. Yeah.
if I've slept really bad, I don't get to go into the school and treat my students wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
I still have to behave like an adult and appropriately, even if I'm tired or I've got a headache or
Yep.
I've been sick all night or whatever. I still have to be a
A
good
decent
person
human
and
being.
try my best.
Yeah. And if this is your best today, okay, well, maybe we need to take a break.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
that goes for
And oh my
adults.
gosh, yeah, we just do that. I'm like, hey, go take a walk, come back.
I literally have a cart by my door with random crap in it there's 3 teachers in the building, and we have things from each other's on purpose so that when there's a kid who needs a movement break, we're like, go return this mug. Like, it works.
Perfect.
Right? Oh my gosh. But like, those are things the general public wouldn't know, right? Like, why don't we do home reading all the time? Well, because in my school, 40% of the kids are not born in Canada, which means their parents are working multiple jobs, which means the grandparents are raising them and the grandparents don't speak English. So every day I'm sending home the book and the kids coming back and they're not getting a sticker in their agenda because their family couldn't manage this. And then they feel sad. And it just builds into the school is harder for them because I can't even be successful getting my stuff done at home, right? Like, so then it's like, no, why are we doing this, right? School stays at school. And I think that's a really challenging concept for a lot of people who we did a lot of homework. We took a lot of notes.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Right? I subbed in a grade 8 classroom the other day because there weren't enough subs. Imagine that. That ever happened to you as a music teacher? Now you're teaching math. But this was English. Yeah, and I'm like, oh, good. I'm not teaching my own stuff today. But at least once a month, right? And these kids, their teacher has a tech-free time at the beginning of her English class. So they have to do all their notes by hand first. And I thought that was really awesome, right? Like, even my son, who happens to be in that class and is dyslexic and struggled, spelling doesn't count. He could draw pictures for all she cares.
Yeah.
He just has to put down the ideas in a way he can, when he looks at it, he knows what he was writing about, right? And I think, that world is good. They need a bit of both, right? Penmanship, telling time on a clock. There's some things that are common sense that aren't there anymore, right? And I don't know what the solution. I have lots of ideas. I'm sure everyone does who's in teaching, right? Because that's all we do is put out fires with ideas every day and constantly are problem solving all the time, right? Like, that is our job, right? But when there's no one to report to.
When I first started teaching, I came home and I was we had just gotten married that summer. And I came home and my husband was like, "How was your day? Was anything exciting happening? Anything you want to share?" And I looked at him and I said, "Talk to me for 10 minutes."
Yep.
And it now got to the point, he's so wonderful. Whenever I got home, he would ask alone time or ready to talk. And he would give me that time to get out of fight or flight mode where I'm answering questions, and I could actually decompress and then to actually talk about my day.
Yeah, and I think as a neurodiverse individual, it's really, really, really important that you learn your own triggers and what you need to regulate. Like, for me, it's bass. So the car I'm driving right now, the whole trunk is a speaker. It's like a teenage boy's dream. And
Amazing.
I love it because the bass regulates me. Man, my 13-year-old is like, "We have neighbors, Mom. It's 7 a.m, Mom." And I'm like, boom, boom, boom. Or
and they get to enjoy my music.
Yeah, right?
I don't know what's wrong with that.
Dude, I need this. You're making me listen to Hamilton on loop. At least we're going to listen to it loud. We've been listening to it since the middle of June. He's also neurodiverse. Can you tell? We have to start on the first song every time. And we go to soccer in Calgary 6 nights a week. So I have heard the first 65 minutes of Hamilton 5 to 6 times a week. Yeah, no. It's awesome. I mean, I love Hamilton. And my kid is case in point that if you try something long enough, you can actually get better at it. He's not a singer at all. But almost in tune now. And it's been really fun as a music teacher, actually, because his voice is changing.
Yeah.
And so I've been coaching. I'm like, yeah, you're going to soccer coaching, but you're getting vocal coaching. So I'm like, you're in your head voice. Now feel where it is. How can you help it settle? Right? Then he gets that vibrato and he thinks it's cool. And I'm like, oh God, turn off the chainsaw. Right? But it's hilarious. Like, and he's actually going to be a good singer when he's done all this. He's going to be a tenor. But yeah, no, he's a treat. I love him. But one time when he was like 6, I said to somebody, oh yeah, he's dinner in a show. And he says, and a tasty snack. I'm like, that is you. But yeah, I don't know. I think
that's so good.
I still want Angela Pitt to come to my classroom, though. I really do. I think she would have a blast. I mean, in our world, we have a lot of fun. Like, we really do have the best job. We're paid to make music, right? And so we're either making better humans with music or we have humans who can make better music, right? Like, it's the best. It's exhausting. And I think also as music teachers, it's a little different than if you were a classroom teacher because we signed up for the extracurricular. Like, we knew that we were going to be putting that 20
Yeah.
extra hours per concert in. We knew that because we grew up through it. We watched our teachers do it. We were part of planning those things probably in high school, right? So it's not the same. Same with gym teachers, right? I think
Yep.
you know that you're not going to have weekends, right? You're going to be at tournaments, right? Like this is part of your lifestyle. But as a homeroom teacher, right, or it's different, right? And so the fact that they're spending as many hours
Yeah.
outside of school to survive as we are, right, is crazy. And I don't think people
Yeah,
really
we always talk
understand
about,
that.
we all do the
Yes, but we've been talking about education lots, not as much about Angela Pitt, but it's been a good conversation so far. I'm going to see if I can get her back in. Hello, can you hear me? Nope. I think we have a latency issue. Stream, there's going to have been a couple of issues reconnecting. There we are. Pushing some buttons. If she doesn't reconnect shortly, I'm going to wrap this up, even though I kept trying to, believe it or not, as we were going there, but there's always just so many things I want to talk about with people. So I think we will wrap up our session here today then, because that makes the most sense. Oh, hello, are you back? Yes, no, maybe.
I can see and hear you. Can you see and hear me?
Yay! I can see and hear you. Okay.
There we go.
We're back. I don't know. I have to say, I think we go back and watch this. There might be some gaps, but that's okay. It's just been a weird internet night. But it's been lovely chatting with you this whole time. But we should probably wrap it up because we have to work tomorrow. But yeah, and definitely stay in touch. I think we should collaborate on some music things because I'm always looking for people to do stuff and things with my little hooligans. So
Absolutely, that would be so fun.
yeah, it'll be good. So thank you so much for coming and sharing about education with me, as well as your experience with Angela Pitt. And if you'd be willing to share your 30 questions, or your 6, pardon me, that you got answered, I would love to post those in the comments later, and maybe we can chat again sometime.
That sounds great. Thank you so much, Sarah.
All right, we'll talk to you another night. Bye.
Bye.